Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Just hopefully a short discussion here today, and by short I mean I don't want to ramble on. Uh, I just want to talk about, is figure collecting worth it from my perspective? So let's get into it.
That's what she said.
Uh, I guess really briefly what I want to do is kind of explain my short history with figure collecting, just to so you understand my perspective a little better, where I'm coming from. I didn't really know much about figures. I haven't really ever been into anime until I started playing Persona 5. And during that time, I started watching some YouTube videos on Persona 5, help with certain bosses, or people's analysis into characters. Just I started getting more and more into it. And, of course, from watching those videos, YouTube recommends other videos, which led into figures, a lot of the ones you can see up here. So I started off, getting a couple of the Persona 5 characters, the ones I really liked. Not that I don't like all of them. But, you get one or two and it really quickly is like, oh my, it's very addictive. It's, oh my God, these are super cool. I want more. So you have to, I think, really try to pace yourself in the beginning. So I've been collecting them for, I don't even know, over a year now. Probably close to, no, I don't know, year and a half, maybe two. Not a super long time. So I personally don't go back to the days where figures were like, $100, $120 from the companies new. I've gotten into it now where they're generally, 150 upwards of that. So, they're already expensive. They do take some work to maintain, which that doesn't bother me at all. I, as an adult, clean constantly. So adding, dusting, cleaning up shelves is not a big deal to me. It's just one more thing added on to the game room. Which is fine because I appreciate the figures. But where I'm starting to get to the point now is just the cost. It's like really deterring me from going much further. God, where do we go from here? Okay, so I've watched a bunch of the pre-orders for this year from a bunch of YouTubers that do anime figures, statues. I don't mind them, but I don't want to do one. First of all, because I think it kind of spoils the figures that someone's going to get that they're going to unbox. I don't really want to know before they do it. I want it to be kind of a surprise on this channel. But also, too, as of this year, I've already canceled like half of my pre-orders now. They're, just getting so expensive, and I've decided to only focus on, Persona, or if they do come out with like some SMT5 figures, I'm sure I'll end up ordering those. But yeah, I've decided I really have to focus and cut back because they're just getting so pricey. So very recently, the figures should be here in the next week or so. This might be the most expensive figure I bought. It's already over $200. And then I got I buy almost exclusively from AmiAmi. I've just used them, so I'm comfortable with them. I know how their process works, so that's what I go through. I don't really have experience with other websites, so I don't have anything positive or negative to say about them. But I got the invoice from AmiAmi to pay for the figure so they could ship it. So I've been using DHL. Why do I use DHL? Because last year when I ordered the Thanatos figure, I was super excited for it, but it was already, at that time, was definitely the most expensive figure I'd ordered. It was over $200, and I didn't want to pay an extra, whatever it was at the time, for DHL. So I decided to do the boat shipping, which turned out to be like a huge mistake. Not that it didn't get here and it wasn't okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it took upwards of 6 months, I think a little bit more. And there was basically no communication during that time. They say they will, when it gets to the States, they tell you, and then when it's moving in transit there, I never got any of that until it arrived at my door. At one point, I had actually given up. I think I talked about this in a video, that I didn't think it was coming. I didn't think I was ever going to get it. So I was super elated, obviously, when it did show up, but I kind of decided at that point, okay, it's just worth paying the extra money so that you get it within like a week. So I've been using DHL. This figure that I was supposed to get now, this month, was already over $200. It was, I think it's around 230 or 240. The cost for DHL was $120 just for the shipping. That's more than half the figure. There's some figures that's the entire cost of the figure. And that's what it was just for DHL. So that's too much. That's a huge like dagger in the heart. These figures, this hobby is so expensive as it is. Where I'm already like, I get one figure and I'm like, how many video games could I have added to my collection for that cost? Not to mention, I don't have money to be spending like this every month anyways. So it was $120. I obviously opted not to do that. The next step down was, what is it? The EMS or whatever the service is. So it dropped down. I think I never saved the quote for 120, but I think this one was $80. Which is still an insane amount of money to ship one figure. And thank God I live in the United States. Some of the girls I watch that collect figures live in Canada, and they talk about how much they pay for shipping. I don't even know how I would do that. It's just insane how much this costs. So, yeah, I don't know. I've canceled a bunch of figures that weren't Personas here. Ones I thought looked really cool. I wanted to get into the hobby, but I decided it's not worth it. The cost is just getting to be ridiculous. And it kind of like turns you off from the whole thing, from the whole hobby. I have some disposable income. I work full time. I work in the hospital, so I work tons of overtime right now. But, I just don't want to spend that much money on shipping. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm getting kind of turned off. That being said, I still do have pre-orders at least half the months this year. Not that I know I said earlier I don't like to talk about the ones that I pre-ordered because I want them to be kind of a surprise, but they did re-release the Arsene figure for Persona 5, and I pre-ordered that very recently. So as new figures come out, I'm sure I'll be stupid and keep pre-ordering, but as of right now, I still have like half the months I have figures coming. But I canceled like half of my orders for the year because of everything I said. So yeah, I still have figures coming this year to show you guys. But I really want to shift my focus to the video games themselves, building up that collection. It's more fun for me to get the video games and stuff, and for the most part, much more cost effective there too. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on figure collecting. Any other collectors that happen to see this video, I would love to hear your thoughts, like how you kind of reconcile the cost of shipping, or I don't know. I just don't know how else to do it to stay enthusiastic about the hobby. It's getting to be a little crazy for me. Anyways, guys, that's it. Please share any thoughts you have. If you think it's crazy to even collect these, I don't even know anymore. I think they're super cool, but the amount of money, man, it's just insane. All right, well, I'm done rambling. You guys have a good one.